Hi everyone, Grey Power 60 here. I'm just getting ready for bed. Sorry I look a mess. I've had quite a day today. Um, Disappointing day, upsetting day, and I don't want to be a downer, but I was just so angry this evening that I just could not. I was, when you have a lot of acquaintances and friends, if you want to call them friends, I call them friends, and when they confide in you, to me that is um, the highest compliment that someone would confide in me. I don't usually um, like people to confide in me in anything because I have a busy life. I have my mom, my stepdad. I've got my grandkids. I have a very busy life, and I don't like drama. I don't like getting involved in drama. The reason that I quit a couple of my volunteer jobs, my volunteer work, was because of the drama. I'm very friendly, I'm very personable. I love to get out and talk to people. I love to be helping people. I love all of those things, but occasionally you get drawn into someone's drama. You get drawn into somebody confiding in you, whether you want them to or not. Some of them seek you out, at least they do with me. Um, and then later on, when whatever it is they've confided in me, if they have heard from someone else that someone else knew about it, whatever, it's just, I don't like to get involved. So I really stopped, except a couple of weeks ago. Someone had confided in me that I didn't expect. She just blurted things out, saying, "I know I can trust you. Um, I want to tell you what happened." And it was involved someone else who she believes had stolen some money from her. I'm not going to say too much about the whole details of it, um, but there was some retaliation. She did do something that I actually advised her not to do because I didn't think that that was right. However, and I tried to stay away after that. I just didn't want to know. And I think sometimes when things happen, you don't want to be involved. I now know that in those cases, I'm going to be saying, don't tell me, I don't want to know. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I know you want to confide in me, but I have been hurt too many times that I would rather you go talk to a priest or go talk to your best friend or go talk to your parents or go talk to a sibling rather than confide in me. So what happened tonight, after a very stressful day of bringing my stepfather into respite care, he's in a nursing home for 2 weeks, so my mom can have some rest, although she won't rest because she doesn't like to be alone. And all of the drama I had last week with, no sleep and bringing mom to emergency 3 times, two were related and one was not. Um, Dealing with all kinds of stuff in my life in the last 2 weeks has been really stressful. And I've tried to sort of maintain my balance, trying to keep myself positive, trying to get as much rest as I can now, and that's fine. So I took mom out tonight because I didn't think for the first night of David being away, my stepfather, that maybe she would like to go out for the evening. So we went out and I took her to the bingo because that's where she loves to go. And out of the blue, about halfway through the bingo during break, this woman who had confided in me came up to me and accused me of talking to the person that she believes stole from her, which I don't even know. I mean, I know her to see her. I know her name because she told me her name. But I've never spoken to her. I've never had anything to do with her other than selling cards, which I think I've only done once in months and months and months, when I was working. And I was like shocked that something so personal that she shared with me, so confidential, that she would think that I would ever repeat it. Usually when someone does that, in the past, I usually block it out. They've told me something, I've blocked it out. And I try not to get into the conversation with whoever confides in me again about that same issue, because then I feel like I'm being dragged into something that should not, it's none of my business, even though you want to help people and so on. And she basically accused me of telling people this very confidential, very personal thing that she told me. I was hurt. I was shocked. And you know what happens when you're hit with something that you don't expect at all? You don't know what to say right away. So all night tonight, on the drive home, I spoke to her, but she wasn't with me. I was speaking in the air of what I will say to her the next time. And what I will say to her when I see her is, I am really sorry that you think that I would do such a thing, that I would repeat anything that anyone tells me in confidence. And I'm really sorry, but you've just lost a friend. You have just lost my respect. And I'm deeply hurt. I'm deeply humiliated. And I would rather not be friends with someone who does not respect my feelings or respect me enough to think that I would do that, especially with something so confidential. And I've spoken to her in the car, even though she's not there, trying to come up with phrases that will make me feel more empowered. And that's the problem that I've had a lot in my life. I am too sweet, I'm too nice to people, so that when I am attacked, even though I tried to train myself not to emotionally absorb it, but to let it go beyond me and allow it not to bother me. I am too sensitive, and it does bother me. So, what do you guys do in that situation when something that happens to you where you can't give that quick response? So I wish I could have said to her at that moment that hurt, that I can't believe. And basically what I said to her when she was talking to me is, I would never, and I mean, I was quite emotional, I would never repeat what you've said to me. Never. I don't know who told you I did. Whoever it is, I don't care. It's not true. I could never. I mean, I was so shocked. I was practically crying. I was in shock that she would come up to me. And she started babbling on about some other things and how she thinks she knows. And now, after I've had time to reflect, I remember what she likes to do. And it's only because some other situation with her, this is an elderly lady, not elderly, but she's over 50, okay, under 70, over 50, somewhere in there. So she's not, I shouldn't say elderly because if she's, no, she's over 60. Okay, so, and I remember one time she had said, we were talking about something, I don't remember the situation, but I do remember her saying that if she's not sure about someone who has done something wrong to her, she will make it appear that she's heard that they did that to test the other person to see if in fact it was them and what their reaction is. That is very dangerous. You should never do that. It's just, it's, people will lose respect for you. You know, that is a game, a dangerous game that you shouldn't play. And after a while, after I boiled down, after I calmed down and decided to use my words without emotion, and I'm going to tell her, I am sorry, but I cannot be friends with anyone who cannot respect me and believe me when I give my word that I would not repeat anything. You know, and I have a few other little phrases that I've kind of written down that I want to repeat to myself and repeat to myself without emotion, but just being very respectful of myself and being respectful. But that trick is a dangerous game, and I think that's what she tried to do to me tonight. But unfortunately, it backfired because she's lost a friend. I don't know how many others have ever experienced that kind of thing. I've only experienced it a couple of times in my life when I was very young. As I get older, I am more, I'm not immune because I have a lot of emotion, I have a lot of feeling, but I try not to get myself put into that situation. Unfortunately, she was determined to tell me all of this stuff. Now, I know for a fact, because I've heard her, I don't know who she spoke to, but I heard her talking to some other people or to someone else about this whole stealing retaliation situation. So, someone else she has told may have said something. However, someone may have overheard her and repeated it to the people the group of people that are involved in this situation. So, and I know these people and I know their situation. I wouldn't even hint at telling them anything because I got burnt 4 years ago, badly, when I asked a question that was only related to me, and only in my little world, it was only me. And they retaliated, these group of people retaliated to me when I asked this question. They took it that I was questioning their authority, and that's not what it was at all. It was simply a question of, it's kind of silly not to tell you what that is because it's rather ambiguous, but it would be like when you're working for a group and they have to have a certain amount of people that do a certain job. And if the rules are you need to have 2 people that are experienced in this particular field, and if you have 4, my question is, do you need to have 4? That was exactly the kind of question that I asked. And they took it that I didn't want to work with them anymore, which is totally not the situation at all. They misinterpreted, but the reason they misinterpreted because they heard someone else say something when I was asking that question to them. Well, somebody had mentioned it, that they only need 2, that was the rules, and I had asked, do you need 4? I didn't say, I don't want to work with you anymore because I'm the fourth one and you really only need two. I was not questioning that. I asked a simple question. And they said, we always need four. And I said, well, that's cool. I just wanted to know. And I left it at that. And then shortly after that, they asked me not to work with them anymore. Now, this was about 4 years ago. I've since mended those bridges with those people, and things are fine. But, we get into situations in other people's lives when things we say, we have to be so careful because people will just twist things around. So, what would you do if someone confided in you who is not a personal, close friend, just a friend, someone you know, an acquaintance, not someone you go and hang out with, not someone that knows all of your personal life, because she doesn't know anything about my personal, other than my mother. They know about my mother and my situation with caring for elderly. A lot of people do because they know my mother and they ask how she is and so on. So this is not even someone who is like a best friend. This is someone who is not even in my circle of close friends. This is someone, an acquaintance. And because I am thought to be trustworthy and discreet, she confided in me. But to accuse me like she did, and I think she was using her so-called trick to see which person she told somehow leaked it out. That's a dangerous thing to do. So if you guys have you ever experienced something like that? I mean, that does not happen to me very often. Very, very rare. And as I said, I think about 3 times in my life I've been put in that situation. The first 2 times I was very young. Well, not very, very young. Once I was in my 20s. That was very young. And the second time I was in my early 40s. And it was professional. It was at work. And it was a new manager who didn't like me because all the people around me liked my work and came to me instead of going to her. And she accused me of some things, and my professional work was, Anyway, I'm babbling on about this, but I just wanted to, I guess share the other end of being accused of something. We often talk about confiding in someone and how they betray us, but how do we feel being the other person where you've told, you're accusing me of something and taking me into your confidence, and then within a week or two accuse me of breaching that confidence? That hurt a lot. So I'm now, because I was so shocked I couldn't come up with words, I'm now sort of doing a little mantra of things to say, the next time I meet her and speak to her. And I will have to, because I need to resolve this, because it'll eat away at me. Because I get hurt, it goes deep, and it goes deep, 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 and it stays there, and it's not healthy. So I'm going to have my list of things prepared, and when I see her, I need to speak with her without emotion. I need to speak with her bluntly, and I need to say things like, I'm sorry that you feel that I have betrayed you. I would never do that, and I am sorry, but you've lost a friend, because I would never, ever do that. I was humiliated by your accusation. I was hurt, and I was angry. And I was angry because it was none of my business to begin with. So therefore, I would rather not be with someone who will be so hurtful. Therefore, you've lost a friend. That's somewhat what I'm going to say. I will write it down. I will be a little bit more coherent about what I want to say, and I will make sure it's in a step by step and get it out and get it done and move on. Because, as I say, I have my own life to deal with. I don't want to know other people's business. I didn't want to know what she wanted to tell me, but I felt bad because she said someone had stolen money from her, and I was like being sympathetic, but then all of this other stuff came out. So, you know, you get dragged into things. So, how many of you get dragged in? Leave a comment below and let me know. Have you ever experienced this, and what did you do, and how did you feel about it? It's really heart-wrenching when you're accused of something that you don't or wouldn't do. And that, anyway. Sorry it's a downer, but I really felt like sharing it, and I really wanted to know how many others have felt that that hurt from, you know, someone who's confided in them. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for letting me post this and share my crazy story tonight. But we, you know, my stepdad is in a nursing home facility where there are a lot of dementia and Alzheimer's patients, and it's a test to see how my mom's going to do and how he's going to do. I think he's going to do fine. Now we've had to tell him that he's there for, it's like a hospital, for tests and so on. So he seemed to have forgotten why he was there when we checked in on him later on, but that's normal. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm really tired. I gotta take Mom to get her hair done tomorrow. That's a good thing. And babysit tomorrow night, and Mom's gonna come with me and be with the boys. So we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening. And like, share, subscribe. I really appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.